Today on Hearts of Heroes. Fire rages through a multi-story apartment complex in Dallas.
None of us ever expects to be the person that's being rescued.
And as crews descend to fight the 5-alarm flames, the unthinkable happens.
We have a Mayday at this time.
We got back to our team. We let them know, hey, we've got trapped firefighters, let's go.
Then an inferno burns through a college student's apartment with her dog trapped inside.
I kept telling him, he's up there, you guys have to get him down.
When most people are running away from the hottest dangers, heroes are heading in to save people and animals.
I think we can all agree fires are terrifying. But to a firefighter, it's all in a day's work. But what happens when the firefighter is battling a blaze and gets caught in that very fire? Well, it's exactly what happened to a group of our heroes in Dallas, Texas in 2018. They had to have their brothers and sisters help them out.
Deep in the heart of the Lone Star State is Dallas. With millions of people, it is one of the largest cities in Texas, and that means a lot of daily emergency calls for fire departments.
We were just going through our morning stuff, checking out the engine, our gear. We saw the fire come in on the first alarm.
We heard engine 57 report out. You know, we heard them say a lot of fire. We knew where that was, and so we knew we'd be going.
As we're driving up, you could see the plume of smoke on 635, so we saw it way before we got there.
Station 48's team rushed towards the raging fire, which was engulfing a multi-story apartment building. After hearing the second alarm, engine crew 19 also headed out.
When a general commander first on scene sees a fast-growing fire, they often put out a second call, triggering a search and rescue team. That crew brings assets along with training that other teams don't have. Their presence can be the difference between life or death if something goes wrong.
I am a captain of Station 19, which is also a captain of the USAR team, Urban Search and Rescue. We answer all the things that are out of the normal realm of firefighting and EMS.
Crew 19 is also a 10-member Certified Rapid Intervention Team, or RIT.
The reason that we get RIT is because we do have some classes in structural collapse, how buildings are built, how buildings fall down. So when you have someone that calls for a Mayday or is trapped or something is happening, you have a little more knowledge of the structure of the building.
That's their only job out of fire when they come to alarm is RIT, because if you need help and you don't call for it, you're too late.
As Lieutenant Kraft hit the scene, the commander asked her, Tamika, and a rookie firefighter to go into the building and search to see if people were still trapped inside.
As lieutenant, I'm responsible for what happens on that scene until we clear the scene. We walk across a little breezeway into the second floor. When we open the door, it was smoky.
The team masked up and stayed together, soon entering a second apartment door, looking for anyone that needed help.
Hey, you guys got that ceiling open. You got fire, heavy fire in the attic too.
Gonna pull the ceiling now. Yeah.
Keep an eye on that ceiling behind you.
John and I went to the right, my rookie. We went to the right, Tamika went to the left, let the door pried open.
I go in and I'm searching. I just happened to look over my shoulder and I saw fire up above.
Within seconds, Kraft and her team found themselves in a dire situation.
Tamika yelled, hey, there's fire in the hall. And then she said it on the air. So I said, get over here with me. So basically, she came over, started trying to head to the door, and it just got so hot, basically it pushed us to the floor. It immediately got dark and hot.
Hey, don't do anything yet, Jeff. Hold on. Hold on.
Get out!
Yeah, I got you.
Get out! Get out!
The far end of the second floor had collapsed, sending the fire rushing down the hallway. The team was consumed by darkness, and they didn't have any water to fight the fire.
I can't see anything. That's what it went to, very quickly. That and hot.
We were all the way down to the ground, and yeah, real hot, real fast.
The firefighters had oxygen masks with only limited air supply, and they couldn't see their surroundings to escape.
That's how we're trained, is you try and self-extricate first. She looked on her side, I looked on my side. We didn't find any other windows, any other doors. And at that point, she radioed and called the Mayday.
Luckily, they were in communication with the commanders outside, including Engine 19.
And I said, hey, we're stuck. Mayday is the word we're supposed to call. I didn't say the word Mayday. I was thinking in my head and it couldn't come out of my mouth. None of us ever expects to be the person that's being rescued.
Coming up, what happens when the rescuers need rescuing?
This was the first Mayday call I've had with Dallas. They don't happen often, and they're not something that you really want to happen.
Then another fire erupts in a college student's home, trapping her best friend.
When my roommate called me, I didn't know the extent of how bad it was, and I asked her, I said, are you able to get up there? Make sure you grab rubble.
But first, a safety tip.
Have you ever considered how important basic knowledge of first aid and CPR certification could be?
Becoming certified in CPR and having basic first aid skills are beneficial in case someone around you needs immediate attention before the professionals arrive.
Knowledge is power, the power to help those in need, and by helping, you too could even be taking a step towards someday becoming a hero.
Firefighters in Dallas, Texas are in a battle to knock down a 4-alarm fire. But what the chopper overhead can't show is that a team of 3 firefighters from Station 48 is trapped on the 2nd floor, and they've just called Mayday.
4th alarm on this box, we have a Mayday this time.
If you can imagine putting yourself in a concrete stove on the floor with fire around you and be like, just wait. Just breathe and just wait. It feels like an eternity.
Inside that dark and heat-filled apartment, Lieutenant Patty Kraft and Tamika Lamb knew the crew was on the way, but time was running out.
On our mask, it has a little LED light. I know when I get to red, I have about 5 minutes left of air. I remember laying there and watching that little thing go from yellow to orange to red.
I was talking to Captain Massengill, who was head of RIT. Tell me where you are. I knew where I was, so I could tell him exactly where we were. And I said at one point, please hurry, it's hot.
But Captain Massengill and his team on the ground also had to figure out the situation. Despite years of training, none of them had ever performed a rescue quite like this one.
I've been on Maydays, but they've resolved themselves before we've had to go actually get someone out.
This was the first Mayday call I've had with Dallas. They don't happen often, and they're not something that you really want to happen.
The training and true grit of these rescuers was about to be tested.
We knew that they were on the 2nd floor, and we knew roughly where they were in the building. We knew we had to get to that area as quickly as we could, but we didn't know what was in there.
We initially had an open hallway that was very dark with lots of smoke, but you could see down low.
As Engine Crew 19 rescuers pushed their way into the dangerous situation, they could barely make out fallen live electrical wires from the collapse. They knew that they were getting close.
It was hot, but we were all there together in a line up against the wall. As bad as it was, I knew they were coming. It's a great calming mechanism, knowing, hey, they're coming to get us.
I could talk to her on a radio, and I asked her to activate her pass device, which is an audible device. She told me it was already on. I couldn't hear it. So at some point, I actually yelled down the hall, "Can you hear me?"
He could see my light. I was very close to the door, unknowing to me, because I literally couldn't see.
The firefighters' first essential tool, the flashlight. And it was the key to helping the rescuers find them. Once found, they still had to get out, though.
And at that point, we just kept knocking the fire back, gave them a good bubble so they were away from all the heat and smoke, and then we just continued down the hallway. A lot of the electrical lines and HVAC lines tied them up, so we had to be able to cut them out and show them the direction out.
I was running out of air on the way out there, so like Lieutenant Kraft said, another 5 minutes and it'd be a completely different story.
But they did make it out, and just in time. For the rescue team from Engine 19 and the firefighters of Engine 48, this story definitely had a happy ending, despite a few injuries.
We were all transported to the hospital. I got burns on my ears, on my neck, and on my shoulder. And John's mask got knocked off on the way out. He inhaled a little bit of smoke. Tamika and I both were treated and released.
A few small injuries, but a happy ending they all hoped for.
So we do the best that we can. We resort to our training, and obviously it is emotionally charged, but we have to stay cool, calm, and collected. Usually fire conditions are worse at that point, so we just have to go back on our training and our experience and work as a team and go in and take care of the situation.
Back at Station 19, both teams came together with gratitude, reminding each other just what heroes are capable of.
Here's an example of heroes rescuing heroes. What would you like to say?
They quite literally saved our lives. And I mean, thank you is pretty small, but I mean, I feel gratitude every day.
If it were me inside needing help, they would come get us. That's what we do. That's why it's hard, like when they say thank you, you're welcome, and we did what you would do.
And for how successful it really is a testament to them. I mean, keeping together, and everything they did was perfect from top to bottom.
I can tell you, standing here, you surely stand for what's best in this country, and I know that every day you brush it off, but you're truly making a better today and a better tomorrow for a lot of people. Once again, you prove that not all heroes wear capes. And from our hearts, thank you for your service. And may you all stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for still being here with us. And thank you so much.
When we come back, a tragic fire leaves a college student homeless, but also with an unimaginable miracle.
At that point, I didn't have any more tears to cry.
Fighting the fire is actually just one aspect of a firefighter's long list of heroic duties. Watch as a team of our heroes puts out the flames in an apartment complex and prove this is just the beginning of what they can accomplish.
It really can't get more American college town than Harrisonburg, Virginia, home to 2 universities, including centuries-old James Madison U.
I am a psychology major at JMU. For now, I just coach, go to school, and enjoy my time in Harrisonburg while I've got it here.
There's clearly a lot to enjoy. Kayla Blake lived off campus at a student apartment complex with her loving buddy, Rebel.
Everybody says that their dog's their best friend, but Rubble truly is mine. And he's there for me through the good, the bad, late nights of studying, going to coach, or whatever.
Actually, Kayla spends a lot of time as a soccer coach for a recreation league.
I coach a 2 to 4-year-old program in the spring and fall on the weekends, and then through the summer, I coach older age groups.
And coaching kids was exactly what she was doing one sunny afternoon in the spring of 2019, without a clue that her small apartment down the street was about to go up in flames.
When they struck the call for the structure fire, we were just sitting down to lunch.
As crews from the Harrisonburg Fire Department descended, they knew more hands on deck were needed.
By the time the first arriving engine 26, arrived, they marked it off as a second alarm right away, due to the size of the fire and size of the building.
And the conditions. The building was quickly burning erratically with the help of the strong winds.
It was spreading extremely fast, and that's when I decided to ask for a third alarm.
As some firefighters went to work with hoses, another team rushed in to check the apartments to see if anyone was inside.
As soon as we walked around the corner, the rest of the roof and the stairwell collapsed. We continued our search on the second floor and then came out.
Despite putting themselves into that danger, rescuers did not find anyone.
It's a risk we take, but ultimately we're here to do a job, and that's to make sure nobody's in the building, make sure they're out.
As crews continued to fight the blaze, word quickly spread through town. That's when Kayla got a frantic call from her roommate about the now 5-alarm fire.
When my roommate called me, I asked her, I said, are you able to get up there? Make sure you grab Rubble. She's like, no one's letting anyone up there. I was a mess, I was panicked.
Knowing Rubble was in the apartment, Kayla rushed to the scene. When she arrived, she couldn't believe her own eyes.
When I got there, literally the whole building was in flames.
Now her heart sank. Police would not let her near the burning building.
I said, my dog's up there, and I kept telling him, he's up there, you guys have to get him down.
It would take 2 hours for firefighters to extinguish the destructive blaze and allow rescuers to survey the scene.
Then you have your secondary search later on once the situation's kind of under control.
The team searched again, but unfortunately, the news was bleak.
Based on the condition of the 3rd floor, very, very unlikely anything would have survived that.
The K-9 police officer said there was no way that he would have survived it, and they told us that they were not able to get to the 3rd floor.
Coming up, there's hope from within the disaster.
We both were standing outside of my window, and then I thought I heard a bark, and I asked her, I was like, Maddie, did you hear that too? And she was like, yeah.
But first, here's a safety tip.
Home fires can often originate from seemingly harmless everyday activities like cooking, heating mishaps, or even electrical malfunctions.
To protect yourself, your family, and your neighbors, number 1, never leave your stovetop unattended when preparing food. Number 2, make sure your heater has plenty of clearance around it. And number 3, never leave a lit candle on its own.
Understanding the risk, taking action, and making a preparedness plan can help you save so much that you care for. So listen to the professionals and have a safer tomorrow.
Charred and gutted, there just wasn't much left of Kayla Blake's apartment in Harrisonburg, Virginia, after a 5-alarm fire roared through the complex.
It just still at that point didn't seem real.
Heartbroken that rescuers couldn't find her beloved dog Rebel during the chaos, Kayla found the courage to return to the horrible scene just 2 days later with a friend.
We both were standing outside of my window on the ground, and then I thought I heard a bark. I asked her, I was like, Maddie, did you hear that too? And she was like, yeah.
The others encouraged Kayla to call the fire department just to check things out. Fire Lieutenant Matthew Bowserman was one of the crew members called to the building.
Minus the fire and the smoke, it was just a pile of rubble with some walls holding it all in. It just looked like a tornado went through that building.
Once inside, the team searched through the rubble where the sound had been heard, but rescuers saw nothing but damage.
The whole 3rd floor had fallen in. We had to move some stuff, force some doors to get in. Didn't think there was any way anybody would have survived, much less an animal.
Positive outcomes can happen because our rescue teams never give up. But secondary searches after a large fire often pose problems with too much water and debris. Going in can be risky for rescuers.
It's hazardous, but we all know that's the risk of this job, so we do it, and it's just about helping people.
And as they searched in the stillness, a faint rustle.
Firefighter Tyler Phillips was walking by, and he thought he heard something, and so he peeked around another door, and he seen his legs underneath the debris and stuff in the desk. He just found a safe haven, and I guess it shielded him from all the water, debris.
The fireman yelled down, he's like, we got him, we got him. And as soon as I yelled up, Rebel heard me, and he started barking. And at that point, I didn't have any more tears to cry, so I didn't cry, but I think I was jumping up and down.
It was a joyous and miraculous moment, but this rescue wasn't over yet. Now firefighters couldn't coax Rebel out from under the debris.
He was barking and growling, and so then we elected to have Miss Blake come in.
So when I poked my head around the door, he kind of just stuck his head out from under the desk and his ears perked up. And then once he realized it was me, his tail was wagging. He was doing his little dancing feet when he gets really happy.
Once away from the charred apartments, Rebel caused quite a celebration.
Those guys were incredible. They see a lot of things, and I think it was just as good for them as it was for me, finding that Rebel was still up there and miracles like that still happen.
It turns out, Rebel came through the whole frightening ordeal with just a little burn on his nose and a few lost pounds. But Rebel is no longer afraid to see the brave rescuers who found him in the fire's remains. In fact, he visits them quite regularly for firehouse treats.
They got treats for you.
How about this?
There you go. There you go.
How's he doing?
He's doing great.
Awesome.
It's awesome. His nose is fine. That was probably healed up within a week or so. You would have never known.
While he's not an official engine company dog, Rebel is definitely a miracle mascot for Harrisonburg, Virginia.
No matter what the call is or how big or small the call is, we love to hear about positive outcomes. That's what makes the job worthwhile, for sure, is when we hear stories like that.
Whether it's heading in to save a beloved pet or one of their own, first responders will tell you it's just a part of the job. But we know it's their big hearts. I'm Ginger Zee. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.